And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Bourbon and Blockchain Happy Hour. Thank you for joining us. I see some people in the comments already. Draco, how are you doing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's pretty cold here and windy. There's some gale force winds. We got a gale warning, so that's pretty cool. So it seems like the full force of winter is starting to hit us. We're starting to get into the waning hours of winter. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so you bring that up, and I'm sitting at my desk today, and my little girl sends me a message, and she says, "Welp, if I die, I love you." I said, "What?"
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she
What?
sends me she sends me a picture of her and her friend under a desk at school. She says there's a tornado 2 miles away from us.
Woo.
So, yeah, it's that time of year, right? Well, that's a long time of year in Texas when that happens, but tornadoes are never fun. But it got me thinking, and we started off a few of these bourbon and blockchain happy hours, and I guess this is really interdependent on your personal experiences. But I wanted to ask you, if you had to withstand a storm, right? Would you choose a hurricane or a tornado?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've been in a couple tornadoes. Majority of my life, I've lived in Tornado Alley. So I'm going to go with tornado, but I also would pick tornado because, like in a hurricane, you can also get affected by the amount of water or drown. Like there's just so many more threats coming at you with a hurricane. So I'm going to stick with
Yeah,
tornado.
I'm with you. I'm with you absolutely. I think a few years ago, in fact, in several situations, one in New Orleans, right, we saw a devastating tornado, a hurricane come through, and in Houston, actually, kind of shut down the city for a good extended period of time, and they saw flooding unlike anyone had ever seen. So it wasn't necessarily the winds, the storm itself; it was the fact that this thing just hung out and rained and dumped massive amounts of rain. I'm
Yeah.
talking like 5 feet of rain in a matter of days. Think about that.
Dang.
Like 60
Yeah.
inches, just unfathomable. But yeah, anyways, way off topic.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but also with logic, like I'm not a logical person. I feel like I could just outrun a tornado. Like I'm just literally gonna get on my feet and run away from it. And I know that
hey,
wouldn't work, but that's in my mind. That's still like a way to escape the threat. So
yep.
that's what I'm gonna go with. And everybody in
Hey,
the chat, if you wanted to tell us which one would rather go through, tornado or a hurricane?
yeah, right. It's a scary concept, man. I guess if you can run a 5 minute mile, which I'm sure you got that, Draco, right?
Oh yeah, all
That you
day.
could
I'm
you
actually
could
down in
totally.
I'm in the upper fours. So
Yep. So they usually kind of travel in a kind of a, I don't know, I guess it's like a southwestern to
I'll
northeastern
zigzag it.
pattern,
I'll
right? So yeah,
zigzag
you
it.
can just zigzag it and run, right? Leo said hurricane. Yeah, he said they're more predictable. He's absolutely right. Tornadoes pop up in a storm in a
Yeah, they're
matter of
crazy.
minutes, right? But when it comes, and you can't see them a lot of times either. Like it usually happens at night, or there's just so much wind and debris. Like the rain blinds you, so you can't even see the thing coming a lot of times. So I'm kind of with you. You can at least run from it or reposition yourself and your family to get out of its path. So
Last year we had a snow NATO. It was in the snow. We saw like cones in the snow. Think
oh
about that.
man. Yeah, well, it's no surprise. I've mentioned in the past that I work for a offshore oil and gas company, fairly large, and I'll tell you, there's nothing more scary though than being out on an offshore platform where your only means of escaping is by helicopter because you're 125 miles out in the middle of the Gulf and there's a hurricane heading your way and it
Oof.
shifts patterns. Like originally, the pattern said no, it's not going to affect you, and then all of a sudden, you're in the line of it, so everybody in the Gulf wants a helicopter to get back to shore. It's a scary proposition, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sharknado. Leo said like
Shark.
Sharknado.
I'll punch a shark in the mouth.
Yeah. Hey, way off topic, man. But I'm glad we got a chance to sit down today. I know we had plans to host another group tonight. Those plans kind of fell through. They had an emergency. So thank you for everybody that's joined us. I wish we had a more structured a discussion, but more so than anything, I think it's just important for us to sit back and talk with the community a little bit more about like where we're at, all the great things that are happening and what's been going on and what we can also look forward to. So I don't know if you want to kick that off, Draco. What have you specifically been working on? I know it's a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to bore our community with everything that I work on. We would be here all night. But
Yeah.
but what I will say, I made some mistakes, and I'll address that. So if I put something in the announcement section from now on, I'll make sure I tag everyone, because people didn't see some of the announcements we put up. I was trying to be respectful and not ping everybody, but going forward, if it's in announcements, I'll ping you. So what we put in there is that we have been acquiring assets. We put up a vote early on, and that vote was, how do we acquire them? Do we just purchase them right away, or do you want us to kind of DCA with some technical analysis and watch the market? And overwhelmingly, people wanted us to watch the market, so we've been doing that. We have seen an uptrend, so it took us a minute to get our entry points, but two of our entry points out of three were filled. Ethereum and AVAX, our buy points were purchased,
That's
so
awesome.
those are completed. So with those, all that information is in the announcements, and you guys can see that in the wallets that they're sitting in, that the funds are sitting in. Real quick comment, side story. A0, so it was a little bit more difficult. It hit our buy mark, okay, and it filled, but it only filled what was available. The amount of liquidity available for A0 is way less than AVAX or Ethereum. So the only amount that was available when it hit that buy order was a small amount. It was like less than 1,000 tokens. So our buy hit, but the amount that we wanted couldn't be filled, if that makes any sense to people that are listening. So we weren't able to fill the whole order, and we had to wait for a little bit of a retracement. So we're still watching the market, and we're going to have a better, we'll have a good buy entry, and when we hit that buy entry, we'll grab it. We're just kind of waiting on what's going on with the market right now.
Yeah, no, that's I think it's super wise to do that. And A0 being kind of like the flyer that the community I think is super bullish on and really believes has a high potential in the future. That's a complication a lot of people don't even think about. Draco is like,
Right.
like, hey, how like Ethereum or AVAX, we can fill the order pretty simply when the market shifts. But when A0, our buy order is so significant because of the liquidity, it may have to happen in bits and pieces in order for us to DCA appropriately and not
Correct.
just buy the bag at the specific time. So, yeah, hey, one thing I also want to point out to Draco, and I think most people have caught on to this already, but if they haven't, I also want to make it known. I am Groot. He's been in our Discord for a long time, providing value to the community. He's specifically helping us, and he's part of. He's an advisor to us now, and he's going to be helping us, kind of track and trend the markets so that we can make the best educated decision for the communities and for the protocol as we move forward.
Yeah, he was messaging. We're actually like in intimate conversations in a small group setting with him, and he was messaging me at all different times, all different hours. He started messaging me at 6 a.m. saying, "Hey, this is going to hit." We're really watching the market closely to make sure we get good entry points. And at one point, we actually did the math, and if I would have done a market buy right after the initial purchase went through for our tokens, I would have raised the price on KuCoin up to like it probably would have went up like 8 cents. So we would have been marking ourselves out of the market by doing that buy. So we
Yep.
just have to be patient.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Hey, everything's already set up when it comes to the orders, and so we're just waiting because we believe that the bleeding isn't quite done in the market. I know there's a lot of hopium going on at the moment, and that brings up a whole nother topic. Where do you sit from that perspective? Even Groot, our own internal ETA expert is saying like, hey, the markets are looking prime, and now is a sounds like a decent time to go long. How you see that? Do you see that shifting too in the market right now, Draco?
Yeah, I think if we were to put a time frame on it, if it was like short term, mid term, long term, right? I think short term being a week or two, 3 weeks or something like that, we're going to see some potential, upward momentum. But we literally just banged right off of some resistance, which was sitting right at 17.9. We literally hit it and bounced right off of it. Now it looks like we're trying to come back up a little bit with Bitcoin, but overall, I think this is going to be some short-term, short-lived relief. I
Mm,
think we could still see some downward momentum in the market. Especially, we're all going to be waiting on Thursday to see what happens with the CPI and what they're going to be doing with the numbers, right? And
that's right.
how they're going to be handling all of that. So We'll see. We'll see how the inflation numbers come out and how all that gets worked out. It was a little bit lower than expected, 7.1. But that's still, people don't realize that's still 7.1% inflation over, like compounding, right?
It's like
So
5% above what we deem acceptable in the
right,
market terms. I mean, that's
right.
substantial. Yeah,
So it's still not great, but it's definitely some relief. So that's, I think, why they say this is like a little relief rally, right? Do I think this will sustain long term? I don't know, but I don't know what would make it sustain long term, right? Like outside of just that one news article, what else would keep the market going bullish? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. I think there's a lot of headwinds or tailwinds still that are both in front of us and behind us.
Yeah,
And all it takes is one significant source of bad news. And so,
like what?
well, I want to pivot just a tiny bit.
don't
You and
don't
I.
surprise. Am I pregnant?
No, no. Well, I don't know. Are you? I'm not really sure. Speaking about bad news, something that honestly I haven't done a whole lot of research on. I just haven't had the time today, but I did see there's a lot of FUD surrounding Binance at the moment,
Hmm.
and it seems like it's just come overnight. And I think there was some sort of an article that was announced today. Actually, I saw around 2 a.m. in the morning that on Binance, they halted USDC for just a while. And I think it was honestly a positive indicator because they want to ensure, I guess, USDC, everyone knows is, probably most trusted. It's supposed to be backed 1-to-1 by real assets, the US dollar, gold. They specifically mentioned PAX. You might be able to explain that a little bit better, but essentially what they were saying was they needed the bank that supports this needs to be open in order for them to deposit the physical cash and asset to ensure the 1-to-1 ratio with USDC. So in my mind, it it wasn't really in my mind it wasn't FUD worthy. It was necessarily like it seemed like they were looking out for the investors and truly trying to back it the way it's supposed to be. But I think the market took a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then, the floodgates opened, and I need to do a whole lot more reading, but I can tell you, Binance, with everything that happened recently with FTX, Binance would be a worst case scenario, and we would absolutely see, in my opinion, some significant capitulation if something happened to Binance, right? If some bad news came out with Binance,
Yeah, I mean, I want to reserve my opinion because I guess what I would say is I think that they're trying to do the right thing.
they are.
Um, but I think the reaction from the market is specifically a reaction based on what's happened recently, right?
Yeah.
They saw something that was like an indication of, hey, we're halting withdrawals. That's the first indication of insolvency, and then the whole thing going down, right? And
Mm,
we've seen that time and time again, starting with Luna. And if you go even farther back, there were other exchanges in the past that have done the exact same thing in projects. So I think that this is a knee-jerk reaction by the community. If you look at what actually happened, it does kind of make sense, but I want to reserve my full opinion until we have a little bit more time on it, because
yeah.
I think that more information will come out. And if you have a project that's backed by a bank, like PAX is 1-to-1 gold, PAX is 1-to-1 US dollar, and it's tied to a bank. So it does make sense that they have to make a halt until the bank can issue additional tokens or back the tokens or give more liquidity, if that's how they're issuing that USDC. But let's just make sure that we keep pen to the paper and that that's the actual issue and that there's not another problem.
Yep. Hey, I breezed through CZ's Twitter just really quick, and I didn't have time to like dive in to see a lot of the comments. He's been super active today, obviously combating any FUD. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you. I'm going to do more research after this is over, and I would encourage anybody else listening to go do the same. It's important to stay up to date on those key indicators and things that have the potential to shift the markets. That really matters.
Yep.
TA matters, but news matters as well.
I agree.
So yeah, stay on top of both. But
The only advice that I would give is the same advice that I've said for the last 2 years, which isn't changing with this news. So don't take it that way, that I'm fudding the situation. Do not keep crypto on exchanges. You should be self custody. Not your keys, not your cheese, right? So if you don't have it on your hardware wallet, somebody else can access it, or stop you, remove permissions from removing your funds, or they could liquidate your funds to cover their own positions that they're over leveraged on. We've seen this before. So we encourage all people that have crypto to have self custody of their crypto. And if you ever need help with that, talk to us in the chat. We have educational sources that'll help you with that, with crypto ed courses, Lefty Chris and Critical Complex David. We will get you the knowledge to self custody your crypto. You should always self custody everything you have in crypto.
That's right. Great advice. I think we've preached that to the nth degree, and we will continue. So
Correct.
it's important. Hey, one other thing I wanted to take an opportunity to do, Draco, is to thank a lot of the community members. We have a lot of great ones, but specifically, we have a couple that have came from Hydra Wells and discovered
Oh yeah.
the Bourbon-n-Blockchain. And what Hydra Wells has built is pretty incredible. And I have a lot of appreciation for them and like a lot of the serious investors over there. So I just wanted to say thank you to all you Hydra Wells out there that have joined, that have shown faith in what we're trying to accomplish here for everybody, and really see the long term vision. I mean, had a lengthy conversation with Andrew I the other night. Great guy, great individual, and I think he's a pretty heavy investor over in the Hydra Wells group too. So you guys are instrumental to what we're trying to accomplish here, and instrumental in just simply getting the word out there and the trust factor that goes along with that we're building as time goes on. So for me, thank you very much, Draco. I know you may have a few comments on that too.
Yeah, Andrew also, I'm pretty sure he posted a picture of himself holding one of our glasses. So
That's
he
right.
doxed in our room, and that was pretty awesome. But no, we've had a bunch of supporters, and I think that people need to realize that we can only take it so far, right? As the executives, we're going to continue to do AMAs. We're going to talk to other groups. We're going to continue to get the word out. I'm trying to work on a partnership with another large company in the crypto space, but we're not going to announce that until it's pen to paper. But our community is what's really getting the word out there, and we have some really, really devoted community members. To name a few, we've got Florida Man and Leo Crypto. We've got just so many of you guys. Cobol, he's always there. Coop is always there. Badger's been a huge supporter from the beginning. And even today, we had, for example, Ronin Revenge was giving us some pointers on things that we can do with our validators in the future to keep our community engaged so that they can stake to our validators, right? So, I
That's right.
mean, you guys giving us feedback, it helps. It's we've obviously thought about those things in the past, but by you guys bringing them up, it puts it back at the front of our list of things to look at, right? And
Yep.
you guys getting the word out there with other communities and talking about us on Twitter, that's huge. That's a really big deal for our project, and we want to be a project that grows organically. So we really appreciate everybody working on that. And Rocket Ship's always out there. He's one
He
of the
is.
Bears, posting for the Bears, and he's been killing
Right.
it.
He has
He's
been.
posting on Twitter multiple times a day. So thank you guys for all of your hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super invaluable. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you real quick to everybody, Draco. That I think it's super important where you recognize the value that these guys bring to the group as an investor and as an individual, right? That's what it takes. And over time, the work that's put in by everybody involved, even everyone here, it's going to pay dividends. So just keep it up.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys very much for everything. We'll keep working hard in the background and making this successful as possible.
You
And
guys
just
are
bringing the
making it
community.
better. You guys are literally making it better. So
Yeah,
keep doing that.
that's right. That's right. Let's talk timelines just really
Okay.
quick. I know we have some lofty goals. We have some things going on in the background, and we have internally some deadlines for maybe even like the first payout.
Yep.
Actually, our D app is being built out currently. Right, we got the first renderings, and I think Draco, you posted some alpha on it today in the chat as far
I
as the
did.
images and what people can expect. So help us, just run us through the timeline real quick. When are we pausing the NFT sales? And when I say pause, we're not pausing NFT sales, but what is the cutoff date to where the NFTs that were purchased before a specific date will be able to earn rewards in the first round of yeah, rewards time.
Yeah. So yeah, what we're going to be doing, sir, I'm going to share my screens just in case people didn't see the announcement. I'll just let that come up here for a second. So this is our this is what our dashboard is going to look like. It's not 100%, but this is the direction that we're going for people that didn't see it. This is where you would enter the dashboard here, and then from here you'd be able to start to interact with your NFTs, your rewards, your fee structure, and there'll be a bunch of information that's posted in here as well. But once you connect your wallet and your wallet has NFTs in it, that gives you access to our DApp, right? So without having NFTs, you would not have access to the DApp. So just little basic information and stuff will come up here. And then as you look here, it'll show you, the collection. It'll have more detailed information. It'll also give you a timeline as to when your fees are due and when the next reward cycle is going to come up. So simple stuff like that. We're not going to overwhelm the application, but we want it to be visually appealing and we want it to give out all the information that people need. So just a little bit of information right there for that. When it comes to rewards, so what we're targeting right now is we're looking at come January 1st, we are going to snapshot all of the wallets, meaning that we'll know how many NFTs are sold at that point. Let's say it's 600 NFTs. At 600 NFTs, when January 1st comes, if that's what the number that we're at, only individuals with NFTs up to 600 will be able to earn rewards from January 1st to February 1st. That first reward cycle will only be for those holders. If you were to purchase an NFT from January 1st to February 1st, you are now entered into the next reward cycle and you will not earn rewards until the next reward cycle starts. What that does is it keeps it fair and even for the people that are entering the protocol, and it gives us time to deploy those assets during that time so that the next round of people start to earn from those next deployed assets, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So just so everybody knows, when January 1st comes, there's going to be a cutoff. So if you don't have NFTs purchased prior to that, you'll have to wait 1 month for the next reward cycle for the new NFTs. That's for the rewards that we have set. When it comes to the application, we want the application up and running and available for people to mess with come January 1st. What that does is it gives us, and we hope to get it a little bit earlier than that, maybe early Christmas, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to promise anything. But let's say we get an early Christmas present out there, and that gives us time to play with the app and identify any issues or bugs so that we can make sure that it runs really well. And who knows, maybe we come up with some more things we want to put in there prior to being able to utilize it to claim rewards. So those are kind of our timelines. January 1st is going to be some important timelines for the project, and the first round of rewards should come in the first week of February.
Awesome. So yeah, just so the community knows, just like the website, right? We took that as an opportunity to really make a statement on what we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to accomplish, and make it as professional as possible. We're going to do the same with the app itself, and I think people will be surprised at the end product. It's going to be great. I look forward to the milestone of the first payout. Honestly, there's a lot of milestones I'm looking forward to, right?
Yeah.
Especially we're going to deploy the first initial validators. It's going to be coming up here in the very very near future. Liquid staking is supposed to start here very very soon. We'll be making announcements when all that's established and set up. We'll provide links to everybody so you can see it active, see what the rewards look like. You'll be able to track everything. We'll provide that, and then we're going to work on having that transferred into the transparency page within our website as well. So everyone will be able to see everything in real time through our transparency page on the website. So building out something special, guys. I'm super excited about it, Draco. After getting the samples back and reviewing a lot of stuff, I knew people would love it, and I have a feeling it's going to be a hit long term. So yeah, that was one of those things I just wanted to be clear, provide that update to people while we had a few minutes. So Draco,
Yep.
I know we normally plan this for an hour. Um, we don't have the material for an hour. We didn't take our time
No.
to prepare like we should have because
No.
they
No.
canceled at the last second. But is there anything else that you'd like to review with the group before we end this? And I'm not in a hurry to
Um.
end this, so however long we
No.
need.
Yeah, and if anybody has any specific questions they want to ask, you can type it in and we'll answer it right away. The only other thing that I would think of timeline wise, we've been working with our data center, with our servers. We're structuring our servers so that they have the maximum amount of connectivity, remote access, and security. So there's a specific way to set that up. Without getting into the details, it's like there's multiple servers that are connected to another server so that it gives them an extra layer of security, if you will. So we're having all that stuff set up right now so that it's all good to go. And we want to make sure that we can run all of our validators in virtual environments so that we can manage them and track them and give them the resources that they need long term. And it kind of compartmentalizes them for us as well so that we can manage them easier. So all of that's being done, and it should be done very, very soon. And we're making sure we're putting in the hard work up front so that later down the road, we don't run into issues. So all of that stuff's being done at the same time as everything else. Like we're acquiring assets, we're setting up the DApp, everything's coming together.
Yep, yep. I'd encourage everyone to continue to provide feedback. We're always looking for new avenues to get our names out there, to represent the community. So if you have connections in the space, if you have passion around a project and you think it would be good for us to link up, introduce us. We'll seek those opportunities out.
Yes.
Yeah, and so yeah, just organic growth. We believe truly is the most healthy growth, and we're going to continue to work hard in the background supporting
Ooh,
everybody.
that
What?
reminds me, last thing that I can think of. Again, no promises, but we've been working on this since day one. Initially, we started out, we were going to have CrossMint as our credit card company. It just didn't work out. It is what it is. We moved on. We've been looking for viable solutions.
That's
It
right.
has not worked out. Not on our end. It's the support of the smart contract and things like that. We think we might have a solution. We're working really hard with them to get it up and running. We'll have more updates coming soon if it works out. But we are not ignoring the community. We're trying to get a credit card purchasing option up and running on our website as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's not as clean cut as it sounds, right?
No,
Everybody's like, "Well, just implement this." Well,
it
the
doesn't work like that.
yeah, the implementing of it is not as simple as that. It is a little simpler when you use kind of like a standard minting contract, one that doesn't have necessarily as many layers of security or complexity. And
Yeah.
specifically, Ethereum, when you're minting in the native token, it makes it a little easier on their side too. But yeah, we're working through those issues, and I really hope that we come back with some positive news here very soon. I got some other good news, Draco. It's not
Oh, give it to
necessarily
me.
project related, but I uh, I secured, or I am in the process of securing some tickets to my very first Formula One race
Oh,
at Circuit of Americas here in Austin, Texas,
that's awesome.
for October this year. So they actually pre-sale goes on sale for Thursday. Actually, a member of our community, uh, uh, TexAg, actually I know him in real life. He's a really great guy. He actually has a founder's pass that he bought at the very beginning when they opened the track, and that founder's pass allows him to pre-order tickets. And so yeah,
Wow.
we're getting them. I mean, it's still expensive to go, but I say that, so community, if you're interested in going, we're going to have some members of Bourbon-n-Blockchain there. So at the F1 weekend in October. So cool opportunity, man. I'm super excited, and shout out to TexAg. He's not in here right now, but yeah, he awesome of him to help hook me up with that opportunity.
Yeah, this is a powerful community. I mean, I really see as we continue to network it with each other and learn more about each other and grow as a community, our greatest asset, and I've said this from the beginning, our greatest asset is not going to be Ethereum, it's not going to be AVAX, it's going to be you guys, it's going to be us, it's going to be the community. I'm really excited to grow as a community and make really strong relationships. I know a lot of you are new here and you've just met us. We're excited to like become buddies. Like we want to be friends long term, right?
That's
So
right.
I'm excited for to have these relationships grow and foster. And that kind of just the last group I want to shout out is our team. We have an amazing support staff. HCL or HCLCO. Um, we've got everybody like everybody on our Cosmic Owl is amazing.
Yep.
TWW, all Rosie B,
Sure.
everybody just answers questions immediately. They're very knowledgeable about our project. So anytime you guys are able to give them a shout out in the Discord, please do. They're working really hard and they are doing a great job for this project. Chernobog also in the background helping us out a lot. He helps us out a lot more than people realize. He's just quiet sometimes, but he's a huge, huge asset for our project.
Yep. That's right. That's right. don't want to forget anybody, right? It's easy to also, you get to
Yeah.
talking and it's like, man, yeah, thank yous matter. So thank you to everybody. So, hey, I think we're about done, Draco.
Yeah.
What I'll say is if anyone has any questions, we'll absolutely be available in the Discord. Happy to answer them. Happy to hear your feedback. If you have any advice, if you have any suggestions, we're always welcoming those, and we definitely take them to heart. So yeah, great. Thanks for showing up tonight and participating. And guys, we really look forward to a lot of these milestones here coming up, setting up these validators, giving people access to be able to see how the performance is going, and then man, those first rewards. That's going to be such an awesome milestone. So thanks everybody again for joining us, Draco. Any parting words?
Nope. We're going to keep on keeping on. We're excited to continue to grow with you, and I'm excited for the rewards as well. There's some big milestones coming up.
There is. All right, guys. Well, have a great evening. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night, everyone.